All right, it's some 25 minutes after 7. You're still watching the AM show here on the Joy News channel. There's a story that saddens my heart, really. My colleague Beatrice Edu went to have a conversation with this young woman, really young woman, whose ex-boyfriend poured acid on her, disfigured her completely. I just want to show you. It's making headlines also across, even in Nigeria, and getting a lot of response as well. Okay, so this is it. You've perhaps seen this picture. We've told you the story. This young woman's boyfriend poured acid on her, and she's completely disfigured. But we've also heard of stories of ex-lovers, because they are jealous the other person is moving on. It's more like, if I can't have you, then nobody can have you. And they tend to do some of these things. First of all, I want us to go back to that story that Beatrice Edu did. We'll come back because we want to see the way forward for this particular issue. If you are a very jealous person or you're an angry person, and because you feel hurt, you think this is the way out, we want to see how best we can help you here on the AM show this morning.
This is the house of Anita, the 22-year-old lady who has unfortunately been deformed because her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, poured acid on her on the 17th of May 2014. She's been struggling to cope, and the family as well has been struggling to even get the finances to take care of her. You can see in the background that this is a compound house, and the information we are gathering is that the family, the mother and the relatives were sleeping on the corridor when she was inside the room, and the boyfriend came in and poured the acid on her. We can find out more from her as she explains her pathetic situation to us. She's lost her left eye, and half of her face is completely damaged. She's also lost flesh on her right arm, which is immobile. Leaving the compound house is difficult. People stare at her as she endures her daily trauma. She tells me how the incident happened. What happened to you? Who did?
No, my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend.
The acid was poured on me by my ex-boyfriend. When we broke up, he called to tell me that he had been falling ill. He told me he went to see a pastor who informed him that I was the cause of his ailments. The pastor told him that I had used him for money rituals, and so he decided to pour acid on me.
No see you until coin. No could not answer. No sound baby. So no crassid, no vishigum so inside.
She's scared she may never be able to find love due to how she looks. Do you think what has happened to you may affect your future relationships in any way? How?
Because after wine, they say crumple, what is simple na be my pona, be my using.
I'm no more attractive to men, and I'm worried about the whole situation. When I look at the way I was at first, as compared to now, it really makes me sad. Children are even scared of me because of the way I look.
Her foster mother, popularly called Sewa, says the family is broke and is unable to pay her medical bills any longer.
I am now so broke that I don't even know what to do. I contacted the boys' relatives to assist in my daughter's condition, and though they came, they couldn't even give 100 cedis, and to date, we have not heard from them.
Anita's godfather, Reverend Mauli Apreku, echoes the mother's cry for her.
I want to use this platform to passionately appeal to corporate Ghana to come to our aid in order to undertake this surgery for Anita. As you all can see, in fact, she has been badly damaged. She has been badly deformed, and no amount is small. We are just appealing to you people to be so compassionate to us and help us.
She needs a surgery, and it's urgent. Beatrice Edu, Joy News, La Paz.
Okay, so this is very recent. I just want to quickly also run you through. When you Google, you can just Google, this is what I did, lovers pouring acid. And then you find 16-year-old girl kills parents along with lover, pours acid on them. Jealousness pours acid on lover. Jealous Calabar woman pours acid on her lover. Another headline, man pours acid on ex-girlfriend's face. This one was on August 23rd, 2013. There's cheating wife could face honor killing after acid is poured down on it. This was in 2009. So it goes on and on and on and on. And fortunately for us this morning, we found help because my guest is Adolphe Ewuko-Bekoin. He's a clinical psychologist, also a lecturer at the Methodist University College. Good morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning for having me.
I just want to hear your initial thoughts. You've heard the story. This is not new, really.
Well, it's sad. I mean, I couldn't watch the clip as they roll. Very pathetic, and in the victim's own voice, Senya Maye, you know, it's so difficult for her, and it is a scar. Quite apart from the scars that she suffered, it is a scar on the conscience of us as a society, where we do not have what it takes to help victims who go through this kind of violence. You know, so it's pathetic, it's sad, but I don't know, I'm lost.
It's amazing, isn't it? But you know, I've been asking myself this, where did we learn this from?
Where did we learn it from?
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to put it in the broader perspective. It is a form of gender-based violence. Acid violence is a form of gender-based violence. And we've been talking about gender-based violence for all these years. In some part of the world, it is epidemic. It's an epidemic. If you go to Southeast Asia, part of Sahara Africa where we belong, it is, go to Bangladesh, go to India, go to Cambodia. Every 2 days, people suffer some form of acid attack, you know, and behind that, the motive is really gender discriminatory beliefs that society has. And so why would a man, having been rejected by a suitor, says that, no, my ego has been bruised. It is honorable for a man to have a suitor. Why do you reject me? It damages my ego. It damages my honor. In my standing with other men, I'm doomed. I mean, I'll be ridiculed. In order to fight back, I would also dishonor you. And when the tool for dishonoring the person is handy, in this case, acid, then he goes ahead. So it is a deliberate action to maim, you know, to disfigure and to blind the person. And what he said, that if I don't have you, you wouldn't be, nobody would have you. And so it is informed by this women as possession, as a tool. You are mine. You know, when we talk about women being considered as a chattel, you are a property, you are a commodity, you are mine, and if I don't have you, I don't see any reason why someone else should have you. You know, so that is at the core of why these things happen.
Let's also move to this. It's interesting why this lady in particular, Anita's situation, and as she was narrating, has become because supposedly a pastor told the ex-boyfriend that she was the result of a certain ailment or his repeatedly being sick, and that's why he decided to, and I don't know, I'm not convinced about this. Maybe that's why I'm finding it difficult narrating it right now. It's difficult to imagine that somebody would do this because a pastor has told him that this is the person who is the cause of your sickness. You know, isn't this unique? Because Usually it's a jealous guy, but this is...
People really butcher their parents for being told that by some charlatans who call themselves pastors, that they are witches and they are the source of their difficulties. You know, it feeds into a certain mindset that says that women are seen in a certain way. It is women who are branded witches, and wizards are celebrated as being more powerful. So it is a form of gender-based violence. We need to really put it in that perspective. And as for some pastors who, it's just a trigger. I mean, why didn't he do any other thing to this woman than to just say, I'm going to, and you know, if you study acid attacks, there are places that are targeted. It's the face, is the upper part, you know, the breast, and in some instances the genitals. So what in our society we've been socialized to think is the honor of women. Women are more appreciated for their beauty than their brains, which is wrong. And so then let me also dishonor that thing that society appreciates. So it is the face, it is the genitals, the breast, what makes you a woman. I'm going to destroy that. So yes, as for the pastor saying this, it's just a trigger. But what informed his action is actually the thinking he has about women, and that you are mine, and if I am not doing well, then you also must not do well. And not doing well, I need to immobilize you, because some of the effects, you know, she was complaining about stiffness in the arm, and so certain basic chores, mothering, you know, working, you'll not be able to partake in all these things, and so you become poorer for it. And no wonder the godmother or the stepmother was complaining that they are completely broke.
I just wanted you to help us with what is going on in Anita's mind, because, you know, she forced a smile, which was really brave. And for even speaking on camera, I think it's really brave. But what would she be going, what will be going through her mind right now as we speak?
Well, it's all summed up in what she says, Senya Maye. She feels isolated. She feels down and out. If marriage is considered the pride of women, which I once again don't believe, then she's completely out of the game. And that is very pathetic, that is very sad, it's emotionally scarring. So the scars, I mean, she's going through, apart from the physical scars that we see, the emotional and social scars are more than what we see. The rejection, the ridicule, an outcast completely. You know, the society, children are scared of her. And so that rejection is quite too much for her. And so that is what, yeah, she's mastered courage, and that must be validated. She's done so well. This is somebody who is a survivor. You wouldn't call her a victim any longer, because in spite of all that she's been through, she's reaching out. You know, her zest for life, you can see it, and that is what is beautiful about her. Her spirit hasn't been crushed. It is how society responds to her that will eventually crush her spirit. Her spirit to live life and to do whatever she has to do is still amazing. And what we need to do is to encourage this by the support system we put in place for her.
So 2 things I want us to do. I want us to try and help people who feel, okay, this person doesn't like me anymore, and I feel hurt by that. I want to pay her back, and I feel there's nothing more than an acid attack. I mean, this is like something that you do and it's forever. So how can you get over that loneliness, that jealousy, or whatever it is that you're going through because somebody says they don't like you anymore? And 2, how do people like this move on from where they are right now? So maybe the first one first. If somebody deserts you, how do you respond?
Well, if someone deserts you, first of all, the impact it has on you is determined by how you see yourself and how the relationship was negotiated right from the beginning. Now, if you think that this woman is coming to my life and it is that woman coming into my life that will make me a man, I am a man because I have a woman. Every man needs a woman in his life, and so your whole identity, you know, is inextricably linked with the identity of someone coming into your life. If that person leaves your life, you become empty, and you are as dead as as you know, you are dead, and so that is so hurting. And if you are not careful, you will do what this guy did. But as I have said already, it is also about the way we play the man role. Who is a man? And the kind of belief system we have about being a man. And again, the beliefs we have about women. You know, if you think that a woman doesn't have the right to say no to my proposal, and most of these things is as a result of women refusing to go along with guys, because in some instances they want to pursue the education and it's not time. So she feathers on, she moves on, and the guy doesn't understand why. It is a threat to a guy's ego to suffer rejection. And so a lot of the work must be with guys.
Do guys feel that it is easy for the women?
Well, I mean, they don't care. It is about them. It's about we have to conquer.
It's selfish.
Absolutely. And selfishness is dangerous, because then you don't look beyond your nose. It is all about you, and you can do anything. You can step on anybody and anything to just get what you want. It is a form of, in some respect, a personality disorder, that you are full of yourself. You know, that is a problem. And so for me, the focus really is on how we help men accept themselves as men, and change the norms that define what we call the masculinity. Who is a man? How you define yourself as a man goes a long way to determine how you react to some of those things. If a woman rejects you, why would you go to this extent? Who told you the woman likes you? The woman doesn't have a right to say no. Of all, there are other women who may embrace you. So work on yourself first. It has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the woman, and everything to do yourself. To do yourself. You know, if the woman doesn't like you, why? Go try somewhere else. But the moment you think that you are the man, he who must be obeyed, why? How dare you disobey my orders? I've been conquering, you know, and some will do everything, including if I don't have you,
then nobody can have you.
Okay.
There's also the issue of so how do you personally deal with it as an individual? Do you lock yourself up in the room, for instance, bang your head on things and try and get it to sink in your system that, okay, she says she doesn't like me anymore, she's moving on without me? Do you take time off your work, for instance, travel to some other place to cool off? Do you immediately get into another relationship? How do you quickly get over it?
Well, I mean, to say you want to take time off because you've been rejected speaks of something. It speaks of how deep you invested your whole being
in that relationship.
And that is problematic. Okay?
But shouldn't you give your all when you're in a relationship?
But you don't lose yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. And so a lot of the problem I see is that people lose themselves. You must have yourself intact. You must believe in your own self, single or in relationship. If you don't accept who you are being single, then when a rejection comes, you cannot survive it. And so for me, first and foremost, go into a relationship. If you are accepted, yes. If you are not accepted, that is not the end of the world. But if you have invested so much of who you are into it, it can be very difficult. In that respect, you need time off to think. You need help. You don't just go the man way, I don't need help, I will deal with it, because you have to be true to yourself. And of course, I mean, if you are not true to yourself, you are not a candidate for marriage.
If you're not true to yourself, you're not a candidate for marriage.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
Yes.
Okay. So we went around because we know that one of the, and just as my guest has said, anger is at the core of some of these things. So we went out to find out how people deal with anger in relationships.
It's normal to get angry once in a while, but to be controlled by it is very disastrous. I'm here today on the street and I'm going to find out from people how best they're able to manage their anger.
I'm a different person altogether, and never in my life I slapped a lady once, and it's due to something.
What's that?
He cheated on me. You understand? He came to me that he was going to take her school fees from her mother. I gave her money. I put her in car to go and bring the money. But he went and he didn't come back. So the mommy came back to me, not to the sister, to find out where the girl was. They called me and I said no. I've given her the money to go to her mother. So if she's not there, that means she has gone to a different person. So I put somebody to call her on a different line. And not knowing he was with a different guy. So when I got to know, that's how come I slapped her. But I regretted it.
Okay.
Your blames.
So what would you do if she breaks up with you?
She can't go free like that. I will not allow her.
What would you do to her?
I won't do anything, but then I will keep pursuing her life.
So I've gone through a lot, okay, and I understand why people break up. Okay, so I don't think I will have to worry myself or think about all these things when my girlfriend breaks up with me. I mean, she breaks up with me because she's in love with another guy, or because maybe whilst we were even dating, she was cheating. So, I mean, why should I even worry my head over it? Pain comes and it goes. So with time, I'll get over it.
At first, when I wasn't in Christ, when I get annoyed, at times we used to quarrel. So we changed well with each other. But now I receive Christ. So Christ told us that we should control ourselves. If there is any anger at all, take your time. You take your time and control the anger. So this time, if someone annoys me, I look at the person and I look at Jesus Christ. I remember him.
He done something and I'm angry and I beat him, but later I make sorry the way I done. I don't like it. So from there, no, I never beat her again. The time I make small boy, I'm growing, I get some girl be. He say he don't have any boyfriend. One day I see her with another guy. So he paid me. From there, I stop her. I don't want to get any girlfriend again. Though I don't want to break heart. If not that, I'll go kill him.
Oh, and I can't believe that men are responding this way. Really? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We'll open the phone lines as well. Not now, because I want us to deal with the responses that we've gotten this morning. Were you shocked to hear some of the things that he said?
Absolutely not. I wasn't shocked.
It's more like the guys are owning us now.
And that is at the core. When we talk about patriarchy, the rule of man in control, that is how society is structured. So the men are running the thing, the system, and they must not be disobeyed. And this gender inequality or this patriarchal belief manifests in many ways. In relationships, in public life. Why do you think there was all this hula baloo about this affirmative action thing. You know, that is not why we are here. But it all comes out of this entrenched, serious, stereotypical beliefs about women not having shouldn't have a voice. They must listen to us. They must be second fiddle to us. You know, they must play subordinated role. Long and short, women are inferior. They must listen to us. And they are our chattel. And why should my dog disobey me? I will kill that dog. And it is incumbent on all of us to begin to change these norms, this narrative that we have, because it's this narrative that fuels gender-based violence in all its forms of manifestations. It is this norms that really show up in men not saying, women, your place is the kitchen, and go there. Don't come to where there is something called infantilization of women, not respecting the views of women. Every man thinks he's intelligent, more intelligent than a woman. Yeah. It's amazing. And sometimes we make the most stupid of decisions and still we want to just celebrate our stupidity. You know? So until we change this mindset, these beliefs, and some form of cultural practices that really commodify women, considers women as commodities, we're not getting anywhere.
Do we as women contribute to this?
Well, if you don't do a very serious gender analysis of it, you might say that women contribute to it. But if you open it up a bit, you realize that no, it is the socialization into a certain culture, and women being the ones who actually socializes us. Women, we say, are gatekeepers of culture. So society gives women a certain role, and they have to play it to be recognized as women in that society. You know, so it is that playing of that role that comes along as women. Sometimes you hear women are contributing to that. I mean, if I don't like you and I say I don't like you, how have I become complicit in the perpetration of this heinous crime against me?
Sometimes shouldn't you be reasonable enough if somebody has invested so much? And I know you say that it's wrong to make an investment in a woman, but you know, if that's your girlfriend and she needs some kind of assistance and you give her, you would expect her to be faithful to you all the time.
But there is no correlation between investing in a woman and the woman being faithful to you. You assume it.
Yeah, you expect it.
You know, but all I expect.
I mean, it's hand go, hand come.
Well, but that is not equal. You are buying the woman out of the right to determine what she wants. And certain cultural practices actually do that. You are bought, your power to decide for yourself is bought whilst you are young. You know, you are betrothed into marriage to an elderly man, you know, and you don't have the right to decide what you want to do. So at a certain point where you want to really decide, then violence is used to keep you in check. So if a man, you must decide. There is nothing wrong saying, I am helping a woman go to school, but that shouldn't be a voucher for having her. No.
But you'd agree that if you helped somebody go to school,
it is your decision. It is a choice you have made to help that person.
Okay, but there's a motive. You would want to do that not because you're a charity organization, but it's because you have a certain interest in the person. You want to one day settle down with the person, and you want an educated person, you want somebody who is fulfilled in life, who has achieved what she wanted to achieve. And that's why you would want to support that person.
Well, people make investments and lose it all the time. So even in corporate world, you make investment and you lose it. You don't go shooting all your business. In some respect, it happens. But what we need to understand is that your investment, so-called investment, is not equal to the worth of that woman.
Okay. So I'll just pick maybe 3 calls because of time. So you can give us a quick call now. 0302-211-69-102 is 0302-211-69-102. 102. Give us a quick call now on this. I want to hear the worst thing that you've done in terms of, you know, this whole issue of anger management and what do you think about what we're discussing. But there's one thing I want to draw your attention to. Women spend a lot of time with their children.
Right.
They more or less raise the children, and boys spend a lot of time with their mothers. So how come the boys turn out this way? How come they still have this kind of mindset?
We are all product of culture. The woman wanting her son to be accepted by that culture will bring him up in the ways of the culture. In this society, this is how men behave. And so the woman is actually playing the role that society has really carved out for her to play. And so it is about time we change those ways of bringing up children.
Okay. Let me just we'll continue. Let me speak to Robert. He's joining us from B. That's the Bono Ahafo region. Hello, Robert. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Thank you for your call. Let's hear you.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. I'm so upset to see the video. However, the interview gave me a little smile somehow. But coming to look at it. If you look at people of our day, let me use this word, almost everybody is wounded. Okay? Look at the people you interviewed in the street. One was able to tell the A to Z of his story. You understand? It tells you how much this guy is in bondage all this while owing to the cheating, the ex-girlfriend cheating. And he has not gotten it out of him. Do not make any sense. The fact that he left the girl doesn't mean he has gotten that thing out of his mind. And this is likely to be transferred to any girl at all he finds on his way will still see this innocent lady, let me put it, in the lens of what this lady did, the former lady did to him. You understand? So it sometimes gets to a point I ask myself whether our age relationship holds. Look, this details and arctic worries and everything are not just having a remote cause, not just the immediate cause that makes sense. So we really have a lot to do.
Yeah. All right, Robert, I get your point. Very, very important contributions you make. Let me go to Break Home now, and I have on the line somebody to speak to. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. What's your name, please?
My name is Bafo. I'm calling from Brooklyn.
All right, Bafo, let's hear you.
Okay. Good morning to you all. I thank your guest plus you. I just joined your program in the mix, but I've got many experience and I've been educated. Now, that types of this program should be always posted on air so that it will educate people how to go about their relationships and deal with anger. Okay. And please thank Mr. Awuku for me. He has done a very marvelous job.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you for appreciating his contribution. You can also, I think I'll pick my very last call on 0302-211-69102. Desmond is joining us from Jirapa. Hello, Desmond. Good morning. Hello, Desmond.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. How do you deal with anger in a relationship?
I think your panelists have said it all. It's about how we have socialized. We are made to understand that we are supposed to be at the top, but trends have changed. Then issues are becoming more dominant now. I think that we should again try to look at the concept, try to let people understand that when you walk into a relationship, as much as commitment to help move it forward, you should be able to also hold yourself in certain instances. Because it's a crime. Based on what you feel for that person, you want to hurt the person in the end. In the case of the access issue, it means her for life. And I'm not sure that you want that to happen to your sister. So in as much as we get hurt, we should always want to see the situation as something that will happen to someone who is close to us, and then how we will deal with it. And I think it will help inform the decisions that we take.
Okay. All right. All right. I thank you so much for calling. And I did say my last by Cyril Wooby. Hello. Good morning, Cyril.
Good morning, Mama V.
Yeah. Good morning, Cyril. I hope you're well.
Yes, I'm very much okay.
We thank God.
Yes, I'm calling from Nogopo. Mama V, I actually enjoyed the topic this morning. Management of anger, frankly speaking, we can get very academic for all, it's fun, frankly speaking, because a lot of things we see on radio, TV, and talk, we learn from books, we learn from research and all that. Yes, I agree. But if we get to the root itself, it's a different thing altogether. The moment we have decided, the very moment that we have decided to let a society off from certain management of our daily life, things turn upside down. I am making this point based, if you look critically in the past, yes, people do get angry in the past, but do they necessarily put acid or pour acid on their wives, their boyfriends, and all that acid is happening now? These days, we say that, no, it's my life, I don't care, I can do whatever I want to do, and the society have no say in it. So everybody does whatever he wants to. In the past, a girl will be very skeptical in dating another guy in a society once they know her to be attached to a different man. She'll be very careful because she knows that society will never allow it, and society will shame her to the core. That doesn't mean that men also should take that as a privilege to maltreat girls and all that. I'm not saying so. But what I'm trying to say is that, you see, in the past, some of these things, when it happens, you see that the man goes to the parents of the girl, report, and the two families come together to solve these issues. But of these days, we decide that, oh, it's my life. So once the man knows that it's my life and the society doesn't have a role to play, it results in some of these things. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying that since we have lost that culture mindedness to say that, no, if I'm going to do this, the society will shame me. Even if me, I, the man, pour acid on the lady, the society will never forgive me. Once we forget that, we'll go ahead and do this kind of things, which is very wrong.
Yeah.
So I think that we should carefully, yes, we'll say that culture, yes. But let's critically observe some of these norms in the culture. Why those things are necessary for us to continue abiding by. Those that are not good, yes, we abolish them. But those that we think has a very critical role in shaping us in the society, to me, I think that we should carefully look at them again and bring them back. Because frankly speaking, if you look at the past, how people manage anger in the past, how family resolve their problems in the past, as it is happening now, there is a great value difference in it.
Okay,
so
Cyril,
to me, I think that we have forgotten some of the things that we should be heading to.
All right, and I do really appreciate your contribution, Cyril. And Adolf, he brings another angle to this whole discussion. You know, I know that you touched on it a bit, but the whole issue of the involvement of families in relationship these days, that's also very much missing.
Well, it is missing because we are moving from our hamlets and villages into big cities where social cohesion is actually breaking down. You barely know where your neighbor comes from and what he or she might have done where she came from. So the world is becoming a rootless. Our roots are completely being broken. And so some of these things will emerge. That is why systems, state response, sanctions to deal with impunity. If people are punished for doing some of these things, if help comes for this victim, then people are learning and they are being cautioned. Okay. But you see, before we end it all, I must sound a bit controversial. in the sense that this didn't happen because the guy was just angry. Anger by itself will not do these things. Anger informed by some of these underlying thoughts about I am the head, I am the man, I am the this. Anger is just an excuse. Because this person who got angry could be angered by a boss in the office, and then he will manage himself, he will contain. What gives that person the audacity to say, I'm back at home, I am angry, and I must really punish my...
So you think anger is not the root cause?
Anger is not a root cause.
Okay.
And we must underline that.
Okay.
Anger is not a root cause.
All right. Really, really appreciate your time here this morning. I think we should do it again. My guest, Adolphe Wukubeko, is a clinical psychologist, also a lecturer with the Methodist University College. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.